Welcome back, guys. So today it's LSA round 4. As things currently stand, we're leading the championship by less than 20 points. So far things have been going alright, but that can change at any point in time. Constructors, we're also currently leading, so today we're just trying to keep that trend going and hopefully extend the gap. For the specific round, there is a slight change that has been made. So we are not allowed to run the hard compound tires. So, only soft and mediums. And the weather's also been set to dry to enforce that. So that kind of hinders us in quali. Our goal or plan at this point was we want to do 2 runs. And this is our first run of the session. Ideally, we want to quali in the top 5. I don't think we'll get pole. We know Mango is quite fast. So I was just hoping for a top 5, top 3, and then hoping that my setup in the race could help carry me through to the victory. For our first round, everything's going okay. We're not trying to risk too much. I was doing low 7 bankers in practice before, so the goal was a 7-3 or a 7-4. At least for the first run. As our teammate gets out the way there a little bit, it slightly threw me off, so I knew there was time there for the next lap. But so far it's been a good lap. A little bit of time we could maybe find in the corners, a little wiggles off the exits. But nonetheless, it's been alright. As we're going to try catch a toe from the car ahead, but it kind of just throws our exit off ever so slightly. As Gem sets at 8.3. And coming across the line now, we currently do a 7.4. So that was kind of on target. So I knew, we should be looking at a top 5 start with that. So coming to our next lap, that was the goal. A low 7, 7.1, 7.2. I don't think I'd be doing a 6 with the setup I'm currently running. But that wasn't the aim. So as you see, Mango does a 7.2. So that is our target for this lap. As we find a little bit of time through turn 1. And coming to the end of sector 1, we're just over half a tenth up. And we're losing a little bit of time out the exits, slightly over pushing the car. And coming into turn 6, we're trying to find the time again, but we just send it too much and we just lose the car there. So I decided to back out. I was unsure if I wanted to go for another lap or not, as I didn't want to use another set of tires, and I already knew these tires were gone, so improving would have been a bit hard. But we decided to stick it out. We were really just trying to see would we have enough battery as we start the lap, because there was no point if I was under 70%. So coming around the final corner, we would see that we have about above 80, so we're going to leave it in 9 until about the DRS opens, and then we will use maybe like a very small bit of overtake. But I already knew this lap was going to be hard when doing it, so if I could improve a little bit, that would be fine. And we barely used overtake there, trying to save it for this next corner. And the time is just falling away from us because we've already used these tires on the lap before. But I do know there's still time in the lap, so we're going to try risk it and send it. And we're just not finding time anyway. And at this point I was already thinking we might just need to sacrifice this run and hope we still start in the top 5. And you can see we're just losing time and losing time. We gained time here because of the lap before, where I kind of got distracted by my teammate, but we just lose it everywhere else. And at this point I knew the lap was over, so I just backed out. And I'm gonna go to the pits now, and then we're gonna retire, and we hope that we get top 5. Otherwise it's gonna be a very hard race for us. The last thing we need is Mango, to have open air, and then I'm pretty sure you'll just drive off into the distance. So coming to the start of the race, fortunately we still managed to start P2, but as you can see Mango opted for the mediums, and we on the soft, so I really needed to get past Mango right off the get-go. Otherwise, I was worried he would pull away in sector 2. So we just go into turn 1, we give him a bit of the space, he's still on our inside, we try to give him room, we almost compromise our exit, but we managed to stay ahead, and I'm really hoping that the wings at this point can just keep us ahead going into turn 4. And yeah, it seemed to did. You know, in hindsight for that straight, maybe I should have given Storming the slipstream, and hopefully he could have gotten ahead of Mango as well. But yeah, this was part 1 of our game plan ticked off already. So, you know, coming into this race, I knew I would be running lower wings, and the strategy was we take the lead and we stay in the lead. And yeah, with the strategy we would. So our goal at this point is to originally box lap 8, but because, you know, Mango's on mediums, we're going to try extend that to lap 10. And at this point I just wanted to test his wings versus ours in terms of top speed. So you can see he's not really gaining at all, and this gave me enough confidence to know, you know, that I could defend. But it's all going to come down to this part now with the DRS and how fast Mango would be in sector 2. So we're using the battery. You know, you might think we're using a lot of battery at this point, but our goal was we're going to use the battery on the straights and we're going to save it in sector 2. So yeah, we will have a very slow sector 2, but we shouldn't be able to be passed unless we made a mistake. And yeah, that also allows us to back Mango into the rest of the pack, because ideally, you know, we want him to have as much traffic as possible when he does box onto his fresh tires. So as you can see, you know, he does close in quite a bit in sector 2, and we're just trying to ensure that we don't get attacked in turn 1 and turn 4. So we've saved our battery up nicely. We will have about 85% starting the straight, and yeah, we're going to burn down to 40%. That is the targets. If we need to go more, that's normally just because, you know, I feel like I might be under attack. So yeah, going into turn 1, we can see that we ever so slightly defend him. But coming into lap 3, a lap later, Mango's actually got a very good run on us, and he's very close at this point. So I was quite worried that maybe, you know, just maybe you might get the overtake done. As you can see, we're looking back, seeing where he is. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to defend the inside. We leave it late. You know, he goes outside, and yeah, now we just have to hope he doesn't get a good run on us into turn 4. And yeah, we're sliding, just trying to get the power down with the battery, and we managed to cover it off. But yeah, we've used a lot of battery at this point, so now we need to really save it going into sector 2. So yeah, in order to save this battery, we are actually going to go very slow through the sector 2, and we're going to try lift this coast as much as we can to try gain the battery back, while at the same time backing Mango into the pack. As you will see, the Delta and the car in third will just ever so slightly close into us, but that's okay. You know, we're not fighting the car in third at this point, we're fighting Mango behind. Now lap 5 again is another moment where Mango has a good run, because we actually go wide in the final corner, and that gives Mango a very good opportunity to overtake us, and he might as well just do so going into turn 1. You can see we're burning the battery, but Mango's right behind us at this point. I try hold the inside line, but he risks it. We go wide to try to get the switch back. You know, we both slightly lock up, and yeah, at this point I'm trying to get the switch back. I don't want him to lead, because he will pull away on those mediums and the higher wing. But fortunately with our setup, you know, we managed to get the pass done going into turn 4. And yeah, for the rest of the stint, it was pretty much just me defending him. This is where we decide to box on lap 10, just to try offset the fresh mediums he will have when he boxes about lap 14 or 16. But at that point we should already overcut him by a couple seconds. Just trying not to get the 10-second penalty going into the pits. I did that a couple times in practice, so you know, I was very scared of that happening in the race. But yeah, nonetheless, we get it done, and that is stint 1 complete.
Okay, let's go now. Come on. That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
Coming out the pits though,
one stop to go.
we had quite a moment here. We almost like go in the wall. That would not have been ideal. But yeah, as we come out the pits, you know, Winterish makes contact with the wall and yeah, brings out a safety car. So yeah, that currently ruins our strategy because it gives Mango track position. And yeah, we're going to be behind him 2 laps later. Safety car coming in. So now I know that I need to pass Mango at this point. If I don't, there's a good chance he might run off into the distance. And yeah, he decides to go. We managed to stick with him, and I'm going to dump the battery trying to get past into turn 1. As you can see, our wings just allow us to close in like a rocket on the straights. And yeah, we're currently leading into turn 1. Mango holds it around the outside. We give him the space. We try to go for the switchback. But with his superior wings, he gets the better traction out the corner. We're going to try look if we can set it into turn 4, but we don't want to risk anything. You know, it's still early stages, so we try offset his line, maybe try get a good exit out of here, but Mango defends it very well. So yeah, now we just need to see, you know, can we stick with him in sector 2? I know he's running the higher wings versus our lower wings. Apologies. And you'll just see that he just manages to pull away from us quite a lot. I think every lap on the stint, he always opened up a second basically, and then we would close it on the straights. So you'll see now coming into this final sector, out of the final corner it's going to be 1.2 second gap, but now you're going to see the power of our setup and why I knew if I was leading, you know, the win was good and sealed. It was 1.2 out the final corner, and just watch as this delta slowly goes down, and this is without the RS as well. You know, it's going to be almost basically 6 tenths, almost 5 tenths going into turn 1. So I knew if I could get the DRS and, you know, have a good battery, that we could get the position back. We try to see if we can go for a run here. We are going to use quite a bit of battery. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done this. We go for the move, we back out at the last second, and yeah, we just avoided contact there. A lap later though, we actually managed to stay in his DRS, so the only unfortunate thing about this is our battery is quite low. So yes, we get the DRS, but we don't have the battery to play with, and I think Mango at this point did have higher battery than us. So we're going to allow the setup and the DRS to pull us closer while we try to save the battery, and we're going to try to see if we can go for a move into turn 4. And it's all about this exit at this point. We're going to start dumping the battery now, and then we're going to see how close we can get, but I think we're just too far to make a move. And yeah, we already backed out of the battery, left it in run. And yeah, at this point we just accept the fact that we're not going to get the move done on this stint. So yeah, lap 22 we decide to box. This would have been our pit lap anyways, maybe 24 if not for the safety car. And we're going to try go for the undercut now on Mango. Hopefully we can get track position on the fresher tires. I think at this point he pulled a 1.4, almost 2 second gap on us. So we were really trying to get the track position back. Yeah, coming out the exit, we ensure to have a cleaner one this time. And then yeah, coming out of the pits, we actually have a slower car in front of us, the McLaren ahead on all the tires. So you know, ideally I didn't want to be stuck behind traffic because that's just going to hinder us, and that was ideally what we wanted to happen to Mango, you know, without the safety car. But yeah, you know, we just have this dirty air in front of us. It's just going to slow us down quite a lot. And yeah, we just have to sit behind the car at this point and just, you know, unfortunately accept the slower pace we're running at. We try to go for a move, we get it done, but I don't know, I think at this point it costed us too much. And if you look at the track map, Mango already boxed. I thought he was going to box lap 26 or somewhere there for his new tires, but he decided to cover off the undercut, and he might as well just have, with the traffic we had to deal with, albeit minimal, but still can affect the delta quite a lot. As you'll see now, coming into turn 1, you know, Mango's already ahead. He's exiting the pits on his softs, and the gap is going to be about 1.4 or 1.6 seconds or 1.2. So 1.2 seconds. We close in a little bit even with the traffic. But now you're going to see that the car ahead lets Mango pass immediately. And I was hoping, you know, we would get the same treatment, but unfortunately that was not the case. So just take note, the gap was 1.2 seconds coming out the pit, and by the time we get to the start line, that gap will be about just over 2 seconds, just because we currently stuck behind slower traffic. So yeah, that doesn't benefit us at all. And at this point, Mango is going to be faster with the softs for the next 4 or so laps. But we're going to try use the DRS, and we're going to try close in as much as we can. We won't get into Mango's DRS, but we can hopefully get closer. And yeah, going into turn 1, we already are under the 2 seconds. But at this point, you know, the gap's like 1.7 seconds, and I believe at the end of this lap, just because of his softs, he does manage to open the gap to 2.2 seconds.
Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please.
And yeah, and I think at its peak that the gap between us was 3 seconds about. But you can see by lap 29, we've actually managed to close in 1.5 seconds already. And there was a virtual safety car at some point as well, but that didn't gain us much time, maybe 2/10 for a better restart. But yeah, his softs are starting to fade, and at this point I knew I could maybe get into DRS on this lap or the next lap, and that would give us about 5 laps to overtake him. But yeah, just due to that realization, we overdrive the exit, and that, you know, cost us about a second.
Okay,
And at this point I accepted the fact that we might not catch him again, because, you know, our tires are also going. But with the final 2 laps to go, we actually do close in, and I knew that we needed the DRS this lap. So I'm going to burn the battery, because if we can get the DRS this lap, we could try save, and then we're going to try send it on the final lap. You know, so going into turn 1, we are already within the second. We just managed to get the DRS, and now we're going to close in, and we just have to hope that we can stick with him in Sector 2. We know he's been rapid in Sector 2, so we really need to try at the best Sector 2 we possibly can. You know, it's his high wings versus our mediums, and we're going to see which one actually is better at this stage of the race, as we managed to stick with him despite the dirty air. And now our goal is just to save the battery as much as we possibly can. Ideally we want to pass in turn 1, turn 4. I don't want to leave it for the final straight, so I want to get this done as soon as I can. And we're just saving the battery currently, and yeah, we're going to try to see if we can go for a move into turn 1. So coming out the final corner, we managed to stay with him. We had the DRS going on to the final lap. We both have a little wiggle at the exit. And yeah, let's see what we can do. We're going to see how much we can close in. He's trying to cover off the slipstream by going tight. You know, we're closing. We think about a move into turn 1, but we're going to wait for turn 4. We're right behind him at this point, but then, you know, I don't know if that was a brake check, or just, you know, the fact that his tires dying, but that little nudge into turn 1 costed us quite a bit of time. If not for that, I think we could have got him into turn 4. You know, but it is what it is, unfortunate. But we have one more opportunity going into the last straight. But our battery is currently low, and we just need to save it now for the rest of the lap. You can see we're both pushing as hard as we can with our limitations. His softs are dead, me being that I'm running very low wings. So it's quite even at this point. But yeah, we're trying to save as much battery as we can for the last corner, and yeah, he's having a little wobble on the corner there. So now coming out the final corner, I don't know if we can get it, but we're going to try go for it. We're currently 5/10 back. You know, we're burning the battery. We'll get the DRS about now, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. But we're going to get as close as we can, and yeah, we just miss out by a tenth. You know. What do you take that? P2 on the road, if not for the safety cars and that. could have been P1, but nonetheless, Mango deserved the win, and we'll take P2. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and catch you next time.